I'm Richie Suave Flores.
And I'm Corey Crenshaw.
And this is Sporty with Corey and Richie Suave.
Floater, center field. The Diamondbacks are world champions.
Down is the motion man. Little flip to Fitzgerald. He scores. And the Cardinals win an amazing game.
Mikhail Bucker with a chance. He walks in. He scores. Mikhail Bucker for the second straight game is the hero.
Welcome back in Sporty Nation. We have a brand new episode for you today. It's got a lot of exciting new things going on, considering the fact that it is not a very exciting sports time in Arizona. I mean, you know, the past couple weeks, there's been a couple peaks, but the past couple months have not been too exciting here. But we do have some really cool off-the-beat stuff that is kind of actually different for us, and it's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. One of the things that we always talk about, somehow we always end up talking about JD Martinez, so we'll be talking about him first.
Yeah.
And then our first something different is we will be talking about Dale Earnhardt, since it is
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yes. I was, assuming people knew, and the fact that, the other one's dead, but and I say that as a person who grew up with Senior and was very heartbroken when he died. So, and have watched the documentary on it many, many times. But
So have I.
no,
Yes.
we also have that in common. Aw, it's such a cute co-host moment. And then we will be doing an interview with Aaron Burden, who plays for ASU's D2 hockey team, and we just have actually a very unique episode, and I'm really kind of appreciating the uniqueness of it because of the fact that it is kind of what our mantra is and what we're all about here, is not being like anyone else. So it's really cool that we can have a super unique episode in that way. But to start it off, we're going to be talking about JD Martinez and what has just come out. His agent, Scott Boras, is looking to get $200 million for JD. That's what he thinks JD is worth, and he is one of those that will try and nickel and dime you to get every bit of money for his players that he possibly can.
Scott Boras is notoriously one of the more out there sports agents.
That was very polite.
Yeah, he's the guy that he's ruthless. He will get you top dollar no matter who you are. I think he was Alex Rodriguez's agent at some point in time, but now he's JD's agent. And like you said, that report came out just after our last episode where we talked about JD, where Jerry Krasnick was the first to report this, that they are looking for that $200 million contract. And I have a quote here from Scott Boras that sums up who Scott Boras is that I love. And I think we have now found a new nickname for Just Dongs Martinez. So listen to this. Scott Boras on JD Martinez. This is from JP Morosi. Quote, high atop the MLB empire rests the King Kong of slug. A 50-point lead. Boras said Martinez's pace with D-backs would project to 70 home runs and a .741 slugging percentage over a 150-game season. That's how dominant JD Kong is. JD Kong is what Scott Boras is calling JD Martinez.
I'm not sure I would have used that nickname in particular. It's a little strange to me. I mean, I did have to sit next to Richie screaming "Just Dongs" throughout all of. We
got called out for the Just Dongs nickname too, because we put out an Instagram post asking about the $200 million contract, and somebody was like, "Stop using Just Dongs," and I was like,
He's addicted to it. He also wants to put it on a shirt, which I'm kind of wondering if he was to put it on a shirt, what would people think about that shirt that don't watch our show? And you're just walking around wearing that on a shirt.
I don't care what people think. It would get people's attention and get them talking. Like, why does that guy have dongs on the back of his shirt?
I'm just saying some of the conversations could get a little bit interesting. But on the other side of things, Boris, I don't know why his name. Why? I always want to go to Borat. Don't ask me why. But he is not only JD's agent, he also has other top free agents like Jake Arrieta, Eric Hosmer, and Mike Moustakas. So he has a lot on his hands right now.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that he is, trying to literally hype everyone up, this man must have energy for days to be like, what did he call him again? Something Kong?
JD Kong.
JD Kong. Be like, JD Kong over here, and I don't even know what nickname he has for Jake Arrieta. Like, he has to be making up these things, or he's just one strange man, and it just comes naturally to him. One of the two.
Yeah, he's like the 2017 version of Jerry Maguire.
He's just, I didn't.
Show me the money!
Oh, yeah, okay. I get you now. I was like, what are you talking about?
So quick, so before we move on to Dale Jr., we put this out on an Instagram post earlier this week, and we asked people about the contract, and we had our buddy D-Back Days reply, and he said, we can't. With so many players arbitration this year, the D-Backs payroll is going to skyrocket, and we can't have so much money tied to only 2 players. I'll miss him, but it's him or Pollock, Corbin Owings / Ahmed Iannetta and or Greinke. Yes, he did wonders for the team, but that was after we lost Miller, Owings, Tomas, Ahmed, etc. That core team but won a lot of games before JD got here. We need a bullpen, not just one bat.
That is a point that I don't think anyone has pointed out yet. I think that's actually a pretty good view, to be honest. We had Holly Rose 123956 also message us and ask if I think that he's going to be staying here and stuff like that, and she goes, we'll have to sell other people's contracts, and I was like, obviously, and she went for the same person that everyone loves to put a fork in because he's done, Yasmani Tomas.
Yes.
I mean, that's the direction everyone is going, so I wouldn't be surprised if something happens to Tomas at some point.
I hope so. Mike Hazen is going to have to work some sort of wonderkind deal to get him out of Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, move in that direction. I think everyone's been kind of pointing that out for quite a while now. So, I would really like to see Tomas gone, not to be like mean and ruthless, but he needs to go.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. He doesn't have a place on this team going forward. But quickly, before we move on to Dale Jr., $200 million for the Diamondbacks is just not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, period. I don't think any team's going to give him $200 million.
I don't think that it's going to happen. Boris he's just throwing out an outlandish number because he is that way, and he's just kind of hoping that it'll get some traction out of it. I mean, it's gotten good media traction. Everyone's kind of laughed about it. It's like, haha. And but on the AL side of things, everyone who would want to pick him up is only going to look at him as like a designated hitter. So why would they spend that kind of money for that? Because they don't deem his defensive playing to be nearly good enough. So, if you're going to be getting $200 million, you're going to have to be an extremely well-rounded player. And I don't feel like the scouts out there are thinking that he is that well-rounded. He's amazing, just not that amazing.
So free agency is underway for Major League Baseball. The winter meeting just around the corner. We'll see where JD Martinez signs. Hopefully soon. We'll find out where he ends up. But we did want to talk about this. And like you mentioned, Corey, try to be different on this show. And NASCAR doesn't get talked a lot on these airwaves. It's kind of forgotten about a lot of times, but I thought because we are taping on Friday night, NASCAR is here this weekend. So when you're watching this past weekend, and it is indeed the final time that Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to be racing at Phoenix Raceway. He is retiring from the sport after the season. Him and his wife, Amy, are going to have a beautiful baby in the new year. Dale's going to move up into the broadcast booth with NBC next season. But he is in his final ride here at Phoenix Raceway. And so when you watch this, I would have already seen the race, but I am going to be there on Sunday, and it's going to be awesome. Dale Jr. has always been my favorite driver, so I'm looking forward to seeing him in his final race at this track, somewhere where he's had success before. He's won there 3 times, most recently a couple of years ago. But kind of sad to see the most popular driver in his final race at a track, right?
To me, as someone who, as a little kid, used to crawl up into my parents' bed, which, you know, when you think back on it, my parents' bed seemed ginormous at the time. It was always like crawling through like piles of blankets. But, you know, crawling up into this giant bed and sitting there and watching NASCAR with my dad on Sundays and watching senior race. And then, you know, as a little kid, that was outside of, you know, like some great grandparents dying. That was like the first death that I dealt with. So it was really hard for me, and it was really meaningful when, you know, Junior came in and he really continued on his legacy and all of that stuff. And they did that documentary about him that I had mentioned earlier and all of that stuff. It was always almost poetic, the way that things kept on kind of moving. And it was never like Senior ever really died. And that was one of the things that was beautiful. And it almost makes me, it makes me emotional. I'm not even going to say it's almost makes me emotional. It makes me emotional to know that this family and like their legacy is finally coming to an end, because it feels weird, because it feels like Senior is like finally being put to rest by Junior, you know, ending his, and I mean, he'll be up top, but it's weird not to have an Earnhardt on the track.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah, for sure. We'll see that, you know, obviously next season, but as he's been kind of winding around his last time at tracks, he's been getting gifts from certain tracks, including from PIR. But what are some of the things he's kind of been getting from other tracks? You mentioned something that Talladega gave him, kind of, which goes right into his legacy as an Earnhardt.
Yeah, this was really, honestly, one of the coolest ones out of all of the ones that he's gotten. Talladega Speedway Chairman Grant Lynch and Alabama Senator Gerald Dial gave Earnhardt the number 2 Chevrolet Monte Carlo, driven by his father during his 1979 rookie season, and then again in his 1980 championship season. The car will be on permanent loan as a gift from the International Motorsports Hall of Fame and the state of Alabama. He also got to drive it around the track. It was cool. Really cool. And it was one of those things that he loves in general. He loves all of those, like... He has like a graveyard of old race cars at his like big estate in Carolina. Race memorabilia is like one of his favorite things. So it's one of those moments where it's really touching because it goes back to his dad, but it also just kind of shows how far he's come and how full circle it is. And it's all just really emotional again, and I'm getting really emotional again. But but it was really cool, and I'm so glad that he was able to do that at Talladega. I mean, they've been giving him different memorabilia like everywhere he's gone, but that one I think was the coolest. But his most recent one was at PIR, which, what did PIR give him? This is pretty cool. So Dale Jr. posted about a month and a half ago, he posted a picture of some dill pickles that were made right here in Phoenix. And he said that they were the best pickles he's ever had. So when he came here to Phoenix this weekend, Phoenix Raceway gave Dale a gigantic barrel full of pickles for his last race here at Phoenix. They called them Dill Jr. pickles. Get it? We went from very emotional to very corny. Yes. Really quickly. Extremely quickly. 64 jars of pickles is how many pickles he's going to have. That is a lot of freaking pickles. 64 jars of pickles. How long do pickles last? Like, when is there an expiration date on these pickles? No, there can't be. It can't be. After you've pickled a cucumber, how long does that whole situation last? I don't know. Richie, how long do pickles last? Someone Google it. Yeah, Google it, Sporty Nation. Tell us, tweet us, Facebook us, Instagram us. Because I want to know, like, I really want to do the calculations, because if it say it's like a year, I want to know, like, spaced out, if you were to eat like so many pickles a month, like if he could eat them before that year's over.
Oof, yeah, that'd be like a half a jar of pickles every day. That's too much. But they also donate to charity as well.
Dom looked it up. On average, they last 1 to 2 years.
Oh, there you go. Thank you very much, producer Dominic, behind the glass. Attaboy.
Mm.
But yeah, so not only did they give him pickles, but they actually donated to charity as well. $100,000 to Child Help, which is a nonprofit that helps victims of child abuse. And that's a part of his gift as well. And Dale Jr. has been encouraging tracks to do these charitable gifts instead of retirement gifts.
Aww.
So, yeah, that's pretty cool. So congratulations, Phoenix Racer. That's awesome. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to the race weekend. I haven't been to a cup race in a couple of years. I always love going out there. And this is also one of the last races before Phoenix Raceway gets completely renovated, because by this time next year, the place is going to basically be completely brand new. So have you kind of followed their ideas for what Phoenix Raceway is going to look like a year from now?
I knew that they were doing it, but I haven't seen what they have decided to do. I mean, I've been there multiple times, so I know what it looks like now.
Yeah. So here's a couple of things they're going to do. Brand new infield. There's going to be a fan zone. There's going to be fan garage access to Victory Lane. You get the ability to watch drivers' meetings. Brand new media center. There's apparently going to be Wi-Fi throughout the entire place, in the grandstands, and the concourses, and the midway, and the infield. Brand new pavilion. Brand new pedestrian tunnel. Brand new seats. They're going to reconfigure the track with a brand new start-finish line.
It's hard to get Wi-Fi even in the media center.
Yeah, exactly. So Wi-Fi.
I know media problems. Don't judge me.
Brand new suites, brand new seats. $178 million put into the place. I've talked to, I work with Kenny and Crash on a regular basis. It's my day job. And they've been saying they have obviously been to a lot of races all over the country. And they've been saying that after this is done, this is going to be the most state-of-the-art racetrack in the country. And I can't wait to visit in November of next year to see this completely done.
And it's going to be so fan-friendly, too, because of the way that they're setting all that stuff up. Because currently the way it is, you feel like a sardine, like, everywhere you go. There's not a certain point where anyone isn't like pushing you over the top, like, because anyone who's been there, you know that you go literally up some stairs, over a ramp, and down the stairs, then you walk a little bit, then you go up another set of stairs, cross, and then go back down, and then you finally make it over to pit lane, and across there is literally that much room and about that many people, and everyone's just like, excuse me, bump into you. Oh, sorry. Oh, you don't have a vest. You're not allowed over there. You have a vest. You're allowed over there. And then someone squirts their way in.
With the amount of, yes.
Yeah, it's really, so I think that will make it so much more fan friendly.
Absolutely. I cannot wait to see it. So hope you guys, if you guys went out to PIR, hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, I'm looking forward to going out the next couple days. It's going to be a lot of fun. But it is now time to take a jaunt into Corey's Corner.
All right, everybody, welcome into my Corey's Corner for this week. I would first like to mention Pickle Rick, because we talked about pickles for a very long period of time, and we never mentioned Pickle Rick from one of our favorite shows, Rick and Morty, and I feel like it needs to be mentioned. So here's to you, Pickle Rick. And then on a more serious note, I also wanted to say thank you, Dale Jr., and to all of the Earnhardts, and being a part of, NASCAR fans' lives for so long, and literally being a part of my life for all of my life, and being, a connection that me and my brother and my dad and my grandpa could all have. It was something amazing that we all shared, was our love for both the Earnhardts and how much we enjoyed watching them race. And how bad we always felt whenever Dale would crash, which would be a lot. And it was just an amazing amount of years, and I appreciate the run that they have given, because these 23 years of my life that, I've been, all of them, I haven't known what was going on, but the ones that I did have been amazing memories that I've been able to have with my family. So thank you, Dale, and we hope that your retirement is just as amazing as your career was.
Corey, I 100% agree with what you said. Obviously, like I already mentioned during our Dale Earnhardt Jr. discussion, But best of luck and congratulations to the Earnhardt family on their upcoming baby as well. But first, Corey, we have a special guest. Who is it?
We have Aaron Burden. He plays for the ASU D2 hockey team, and we are super excited to have him on today. They are having an awesome season, and it's really exciting to see them doing well. So we thought we'd bring him on and really try and get that team out to people, because I honestly think that they need to have a lot more fans at their games, because they are a really fun team to watch. And all of these ASU teams have always been so much fun to watch. And so, go out to those games, check them out, because this is definitely some, raw college hockey that you really don't get to watch with some of the higher level ones. So it's really fun to watch, and you never know what's going to happen. That's when that USC thing happens. So we are going to be going on with Aaron and seeing how that season's going so far. How has this season been for you guys, and what makes this season so much different from last year's?
Well, compared to last year, obviously we have a lot more winning going on than last year. That's for sure. That's the most obvious thing. Other than that, I feel like we're just clicking right off the bat this year. Last year, it took a couple months to really get into motion, and I feel like, with a good start, you can build on it. And, we're just coming together a lot stronger this year compared to last year. There's a lot of, we started off against some strong teams with a strong schedule last year, and it's hard to build off of that. But this year, it just feels like everything's meshing, because we started off with teams we could handle, and we built from there. And we haven't really showed that we compete against really good teams like NAU right now, but we're hoping to build towards that with stepping blocks in the future.
Aaron, your team's a lot better offensively this season. Is that because of the systems, or is it because of the talent? And then a second part to my question, too, is what are your expectations for this team? Are you looking at nationals come February?
Obviously, every team wants to get the little things, build on the little things. We're focusing on systems. It's a young group. A lot of rookies are in it, and we're just trying to relearn the system that Tate's giving to us, and make sure that everything's down, and we just, come in and work hard every day. It's really nothing else that we could really look to. Defensive zone, it's all systems when we break down. If neutral zone, it's systems, and even offensive zone, there's forechecks, it's systems. So basically we're drilling that into our head. And as far as how far we will go this year, we're ranked 9th going into this last rankings, and I believe that's the highest we've been in the last 2 years. When we came into the season, I just kind of wanted to, win the Pac-8 and make sure we did have a regional spot. Going into this month, I'd like to think that we could, set ourselves up at a higher standard, and I confidently could say we're able to make top 5 in the region by the end of the month, hopefully, and from there, make it to regionals and hopefully do what we need to do to go to nationals.
Another thing Richie and I were really wanting to cover with you was about that USC game with the goaltender getting injured and then one of their players coming in as the goaltender for the rest of the game.
Have you ever seen anything like that? Corey just told me the stories about it, and I'd never heard anything like that. What was that like for you to be a part of that ridiculousness? That is pure ACH hockey right there. Well, for one, we've actually had a couple things happen this year where we just like to say, well, that's ACHA hockey for you, club hockey, where we'll show up to the rink 20 minutes before an accident because we broke down going to NAU or anything like that. But that instance in particular is definitely one of the craziest things I've ever happened to me in my life. Hockey-wise, it was about 11:30, 12 at night, and we're in the middle of the second period, which is unheard of for one. And then two, this goalie, they have one goalie on the trip, and of course he gets hurt, and they dress a player, and we both used our timeouts for them to dress this player, which is ridiculous too.
And that's not even the funniest thing to me about that night was even that they had to put in a player goalie. It was two of our rookies scored their first goals that night. And when we got into the locker room, we usually give them, their first puck. And one of them got a puck dated one date, and one of them got a puck dated the next date because our game was so late that they scored in 2 different days.
Your team has seemed to suffer from the thing that most teams actually nowadays do suffer from, which is a mass amount of injuries. How have you guys been dealing with that?
Well, we have some of our more experienced guys out right now for I don't know how much longer, but I think our rookies really stepped it up and realized the role they had to fill early on. And I think players like Millsy, Adams, Aiden, and I really took on the role after that. We saw Nate and Marcus take the hit. So I think we're all filling in well. Valver came up, and he's playing like he's been here for a couple of years, knows what he's been doing, and that's all we can ask for them. We're getting wins, and it's a good time right now.
Thank you so much, Aaron, for coming on. It was a pleasure talking to you, and so glad that your guys' season is going so well. I really hope that you guys get as far as you really want to, and that everything keeps on going up for you guys. And good luck to all of you and Coach Tate on your future endeavors.
All right, everybody, it is now time to wrap up the show, as we always do here on Sporty with Corey and Richie Suave, with my Dick of the Week. And I had a couple options here. Could have gone with LiAngelo Ball for shoplifting from a store in China and possibly facing 10 years in prison. But it is not him, because Michael Felger, who is a Boston sports radio personality, did something way worse. And that is after the untimely death of Roy Halladay this week, who unfortunately passed away in a plane crash earlier this week at the age of 40. Michael Felger went on Boston sports radio and essentially said, "This is the kind of death that makes me angry." He called the former Blue Jays and Phillies ace, who died at the age of 40 and left behind a wife and 2 sons, a moron and a jackass. This was literally less than 24 hours after Roy Halladay passed away. He went on radio and said that about a man who literally just left behind a wife and 2 kids. That is absolutely disgusting on my part. And I have no idea how in the world he still has a job after he said what he said. So, Michael Felger, who apparently apologized, wishy-washy, bullcrap, it was a forced apology. You are my Dick of the Week. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on this episode of Sporty with Corey and Richie Suave. We'll talk to you again next week. Good night. And good sports, everybody.